This is Tony McMillan, creator of Attaboy. You are listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
He's blustery. A little forceful. Yeah.
Like a zephyr in the summer.
Oh my goodness.
Why do you sigh when I'm poetic? You should.
Poetic? Dude, it's pretentious. Pretentious is the word I was looking for.
We were chatting with North Carolina boys, and Cliff's like, "Bro, you sound an elitist." I'm like, "Do you know me?"
Right? No, I thought that was Vander. That was Vander who said it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, "Do you know me?" I'm like, "Bro, of course I'm an elitist." Like, what? Have I ever pretended not to be?
Seriously.
Self-professed elitist. That's great.
I mean, listen, this is cinema verite, right? For all of our good or bad, 17 years in, we are who we are. Like,
true,
I don't pretend to be anything other than who I am.
And we're not going to pretend we're anything other than we are either, because this is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 992, and I am Vince B.
Dagnabbit. Yes, you are. I'm David A. Price.
That's true. And, of course, I'm Alabaster Strange Gnome.
Wow. You are pale.
I am Alabaster. In fact, my mother called me Alabaster when I was like 10, and I thought she was insulting me because I didn't know what it meant. And then ever since I've been like, oh no, I am Alabaster.
I would call you Alabastard.
I'm the Alabastard, yeah.
There you go.
If I were a villain, I'd be the Alabastard, yeah.
That'd be great. But you're not that. You're Jason Wood, everybody. Here together again to talk about comics. And here's some wisdom from two extraordinary gentlemen. You will hear them shortly. But first, this episode and every other episode has been brought to you by CheapGraphicNovels.com. CheapGraphicNovels.com. What more do you need to know? Omnibus edition, trade paperback, omnibus, OGNs, manga, all that stuff. Less than retail, far below retail. They have specials. You can peruse and get your books even cheaper. They have this deal where if you're a first-time customer, on your second order, you will receive free shipping. All you have to do is reply to the email confirmation from your first order saying 11 O'Clock Comics sent me, and Max will give you free shipping. It's crazy. It's insane. Nobody else does it. It's a huge value. And on top of that, there are specials.
There are specials. It's so great. You've mentioned them a couple of times. And we've got this week, Everything Sucks, Kings of Nothing trade paperback, $22.49. This jam-packed collection features the entirety of Everything Sucks, including a never-before-seen 6th issue and bonus sketches, art, and pages from the mind of Michael Sweater. Godzilla's Monster Piece Theater trade paperback, $15.39. Come along with Gatsby on the journey of a lifetime as he combines forces with the Time Machinist and Sherlock Holmes to stop the 20th century's greatest monster. Collects issues 1 through 3 of Godzilla's Monster Piece Theater. And finally, here's a big one. Nightwing by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo, Omnibus Volume 1, hardcover, $59.99. Nightwing is back in blue and better than ever. Returning to his adopted city of Bloodhaven, Dick Grayson is keeping his home safe and doing it with a skip in his step. One of the most iconic and acclaimed runs of the past decade experienced the first of 2 legendary omnibuses. Collects Nightwing numbers 78 through 96, Nightwing Annual 2021, and Superman, Son of Kal-El number 9, with a brand new introduction by Taylor, commentary by Redondo, and an extensive behind-the-scenes art gallery and brand new cover by the artist.
How much is that?
How much?
$60.
Oh, that's not bad.
I can't go sign that enough.
I know. That's why I threw it in there for you.
My man. I like unironically think that Taylor and Redondo's Nightwing is one of the best superhero runs of the last 10 years. I think it's great.
There you go.
I think I'll probably get that.
I would have to agree with that. Godzilla is the most, what is it, iconic monster of the 20th
the 20th century's greatest monster.
I would agree with that. Who's better?
Oh yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. Right?
Yeah.
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 I mean, you got.
I mean,
I'm
just
thinking. I'm
greatest
thinking
in like
real time
size,
right now,
but I mean, just as
yeah.
far as
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So there you go. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Just go there and you'll save
Do it.
a whole bunch.
Got it.
Nobody's going to hear that.
That's fine.
Nobody.
Not for them.
I'm drinking
Nobody.
some Cabernet.
I know.
Finishing up. Where is it? The, from Chronic Cellars. The Paso Robles that I started last episode. Yeah, I'm finishing
Pussy
off.
Robles.
There you go. It's good.
Respect.
It's really good.
Pussy Robles.
It is. I am
You got
drinking
you.
some watermelon G0.
Watermelon sugar. I was going to break open a bottle of wine, but I don't know how long it will take me to finish it, and I really don't want all that sugar, so I went back to the Bardstown Wheated Whiskey.
Nice. There you go. Well, we have something very special for you. You may have heard about the Power Pulp. You may not have heard, in which case you're going to learn a whole mess about what exactly is the Power Pulp. It's not a publisher. We'll let Chris Anderson and Matt King tell you exactly what it is in this wonderful conversation we have with the two gentlemen. And then we'll be back to do what we do all the time.
That's right.
Yeah. So listen to them, have some fun. We'll come right back as soon as this is done. I was rapping. I was rapping.
What, presents? That was great.
It's
MC
wonderful.
Lurch.
Holy shit.
Tap got it. That knows what's up.
Oh, shit.
So anybody that laughs at your jokes is in your good graces, but if they don't, they're not. That's how it goes?
Yeah,
Isn't that just
true for
life?
everybody?
I mean,
No.
isn't that
That's
everything?
life, right? Like,
No.
if someone doesn't think
If you're in a road
funny,
trip and someone's laughing, that's your
Yeah,
boy.
like-
If they're not laughing, you're like, missed it until the next
100%.
thing.
You're like, what's the matter with you?
That's
Yeah, if you
right.
make a joke, and someone just sits there, you're like, what the fuck's the matter with you, nerd?
No, that's not how it works. Do you say
No,
the
sense of
joke?
humor?
Do you say the joke to get a response, or do you say the joke because it's a joke? Because you have to say it.
Why would you ever say a joke if you weren't expecting people to laugh? That's the point of a joke.
Well, not everybody's going to get it, and those that don't get it or respond to it,
Are
does that
whack-ass
make them
busters.
okay? All right.
That's just right.
It's all because it's
So-
all about you.
I'm not supposed to make a joke because somebody
I
doesn't
feel like-
have the same shared
I
experiences.
feel like Gap and I are the Rock and Roll Express right now, tagging in for the titles. We are on in sync
real?
right now.
You can be
It's the
wrestling
Mulkey Brothers over
if you
here.
want.
You're King Kong Bundy getting your ass whooped,
Whatever.
Oh damn!
Whatever.
Now Bruno said
eating the turnbuckle and shit.
It's George Animal still.
Oh, it's your General Steel. That's right. I got the wrong analogy. That's funny. Oh shit!
Oh, with the green tongue and shit. That's fucked up.
That's right.
I wouldn't take that, Vince.
I don't care. We'll be back.
Oh boy, tonight's the night, fellas. I don't know if you know this, but tonight's going to be hotter than the fish grease. It's been a minute since we had a guest on the show, so tonight, dear listeners, we are Eiffel Towering your ear holes with two cosmically cool creatures. These two gentlemen are co-founding members of the Power Pulp Comics Collective, and frankly, that's why they're here to tell us all about that new initiative tonight. But up first, making his triumphant return to the show, a man who will forever be in our hearts and minds for bringing us the greatness that is Tales to Enlighten. Welcome back, everybody, Mr. Matt King.
Oh shit, that's me.
That's right.
Glad to be
That
here.
is you.
Thank you.
Jason forgot loins too. You're in our loins.
That is
Woo!
true too.
Yes.
It's a family show, you
No
know?
doubt.
It's a
And
fan.
But he starts out with Eiffel Tower. But it's a family.
hey, listen. You know, I didn't say what kind of family. And joining Matt, making his first appearance on the show, but he's by no means a stranger to the EOC family. We see him at least once a year at the beloved Heroes Con. It is the co-creator of books like Chaotic Neutral and Spectral, A Showcase of Fear. Our good buddy, welcome to the show for the first time, Mr. Chris Anderson.
What is happening?
This is awesome.
It is.
It is. We haven't had a fivesome in a long time.
Ooh, you can get crazy up in here.
That's right. Fresh out of condom.
FYI, I've never had a 5-way, but
Well,
willing
Time for everything, bud.
First time for everything.
at
yeah.
least not with four other humans. But
Oh boy.
Are you even living without a 5-way?
It's my first this week.
Listen, we know Matt's a freak. I'm sure Matt's had a couple multi-ways.
No
I'm
comment.
sure. Yeah, exactly.
Just summon
He is
them.
for a reason.
Summon them from the ether.
That's
there they
right.
are. Yeah.
Right.
From the dark aether. That's right. So welcome, guys. So why don't we jump right to it? I mean, obviously, it's great to have you both on, and we'll chat about lots of stuff. But the impetus for this is the aforementioned Power Pulp Comics Collective. I think the three of us, know a fair amount about it, but I would assume most of our listeners don't yet know much about it. So, I'll hand it off to you guys. Why don't you talk about what it is and how it came about? Sort of who manifested this, and how long was it in the works before we heard about it a few months ago?
You want me to run with that, Matt?
Yeah, may as well start with Chris because the whole thing started with Chris. So
There we go.
let's
All right.
go.
The impetus was basically I had boxes of Spectral Showcase of Fear in my closet, and the only time I'm selling them is when I'm at shows. And so, especially with this year, I wasn't doing a whole ton of shows, and I wasn't going to move them that fast. And I wanted to figure out how to get distribution, but with the model at the time, this is before all the Diamond stuff. In order to get distribution, you had to be a publisher. In order to be a publisher, you couldn't be an individual. You had to sell other creators' books besides, your own or whatever, and under your imprint. So the thought came to me that what if a bunch of, I know that I'm not the only creator that has this issue, and we know that distribution for self-publishers is almost non-existent. And so I thought, well, what if we just kind of banded together under an umbrella of, quality? Certain creators got together and kind of acted as a quote unquote fake publisher and, snuck in the back door of, well, Diamond at the time was the goal. And I floated the idea over to the Coates brothers and Jamie Jones, and they were both kind of thinking along the same lines of trying to figure out how to get their books into shops as well. And so they were immediately on board, and so we kind of worked on it for a few months, getting together like at least once a week, just trying to figure out a model and how to kind of break it and figure out why it was a bad idea. Because you're like, why hasn't anybody done this? This must be a terrible idea. And the more we thought about it, we couldn't break the model that we had. And as time went on, then the Diamond stuff started to collapse, and we realized, oh gosh, shit, we can actually distribute ourselves if we do it right. And so we got a few other creators together for the first wave, gathered the forces, put the PR team together, and at Heroes Con, we launched it out to the world. And that was basically it.
All right.
Mothers of invention.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, necessity, right? Okay, so you like you said, you kind of ran it through to try and break it. I love that idea, to make sure that it was a good idea before you launched it. But I think I know you, I know Jamie. I mean, we know Matt, but I don't know that Matt's ever been Heroes. So I'm curious, how did you how did the collective as it stands now come into being? Because I think, at least per the website, and let me know if there's been more since then, but we've got Aubrey Sitterson, Brad Dwyer, Charles Globitz, you, Chris, Corinne Halbert. I think you mentioned James and John Coates. You got Jamie Jones, Kurt Burdick. You got Matt. You've got is it Machi? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Machi, yeah.
Machi. You've got Pat Kane, Rick Lopez, Scott Brian Woods, and Tony Farrell. I think that's everybody, at least per your website. So how did you go about, collecting this crew? Was it personal relationships? Did you, once you launched it, did you have kind of a come one, come all, put up the placard? Like, I'm just curious how this group of people ended up being the conceptual co-founders of the group.
Yeah. A little bit of all of that stuff. Some people were friends that we've known just from kind of doing shows and running into each other and seeing the quality of the work. Other people were brought in by suggestion from other members of the group. And so as a collective, it's not like one voice is going to tell everybody how this thing is going to be run. And so we kind of would vote and will, as more members come in, vote on whether or not we think these people are the right fit. If we think that their line is of a standard or a quality that will fit with us, and whether or not they're serious and they're creators that are here to stay, and not just doing it kind of as a hobby. And I know, Matt, you want to add to that?
Yeah. So basically, I guess the four of you kind of reached out, and then like the I told two friends kind of thing, and before you know it, we had the 13 people, just by pretty much personal connections, I think. But so I'm running the Instagram page, and the most requests I get and the messages is, how do I join? And basically, we can't build this thing much bigger than we have it right now until we really see it works. So I have to be the one that kind of says, well, it sounds a little gatekeeperish, but it's more of a curation thing. And I don't want to be going around telling everybody no, but it's at this point, until we build it bigger and make sure it works, we are sort of limited to the number of people we can accept. And as dicky as that sounds, it's just the way it's got to be for now. But that doesn't mean that this business model can't be used by other people. 13 other people can get their friends together and build their own machine, so to speak.
Yeah, because the thing is that the company itself, or company, whatever you want to call it, Power Pulp itself doesn't bring in any money. It's $0 by design. And everybody in the collective kind of does some heavy lifting along the way. Like two people in the collective do all the shipping. One person does the website. One person is designing the catalog, and everybody kind of brings a special talent or superpower, if you will, to the table, and we all just kind of lift together. So because of that, we couldn't bring on 100 people, because it's literally two guys on the weekend shipping out the books, so that all the creators can make 100% of the money that shops and individuals get, are the money that they put pay for the books when at the end of the month. So in that way, it's pretty great for the creators.
That's the way it should be, right? I mean, who knows better than all the troubles that go into making these things than the people that actually make them, right? Mm-hmm. I think worst case scenario is the Diamond thing, when somebody swoops in. Not that Diamond had much concern about publishers, but when somebody swoops in who has really very little regard to the aesthetics, the art form of comics, and they just want to distribute these pamphlets around and make money, with an ulterior motive of selling games. I think first of all, it's a very good thing that you have more people petitioning for inclusion into the Power Pulp than you do spaces available. That's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
I don't think curating is actually a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. It just, we wish that we could accommodate everybody, but then there are distribution companies for quote unquote indie comics, right? And I say that quote unquote,
Right.
as opposed to self publishers, right? And if you look at some of those, if you were to go to some of the websites of those distributors and you go on there, it's all those like AI generated covers of some kind of bull crap that you never want to read in your life, and it's just a sea of it. It's just that I don't even know how you're supposed to navigate and find the actual good books. And as far as I'm concerned, some of the best books coming out right now, probably most of the best books coming out right now, are coming out from independent publishers who don't have to listen to, corporations telling the editors what to tell the creative team to do and things like that. And if you find the right people who are of the caliber that can tell a great story and draw a great book, really the best stuff is out there. So we just wanted to get people like that all together under one sort of banner. Power Pulp is what we came up with, and just push it and try to push this corner of comics more into the commonplace with the rest of comics fandom.
Right. I think there's something very smart in defining Power Pulp comics with a very distinctive look and feel. Because if you're trying to tell as a fan, if you're trying to tell somebody about this distributor, Power Pulp, yeah, they have great comics. Well, what do they have? If you have stuff like a fantasy book and a sci-fi book and there's some books in the batch that I can't even describe, but they all have a very similar growth spot. Let's say they have this an aesthetic that it feels like a family, right? Remember Image back in the day when they first started?
Yeah.
All the Image books more or less looked the same. So you could pretty much, like, if you didn't like wacky superhero comics that were drawn, exaggeratedly, then Image wasn't for you. But over time, Image became like everything. So Image lost that look that distinctive, cohesive look that they had, but they gained that name, Image Comics, right? But like Fantagraphics, there's a very particular look to a Fantagraphic book.
For sure. Yeah.
There's a ton of different styles, but they all have that Fantagraphics look and feel and smell and that tactile sense. That's what I'm expecting from Power Pulp. That there's like a family cohesion to the distributor. And from what I've seen from the books we were you were generously let us see that you have that already.
Yeah. I think that we're a group of creators that are often told that, Matt, I think you brought this up at one point too. Like, people often say that we're too mainstream for indie, but too indie for mainstream. We kind of like walk this like line, we
have a little bit of a weird vibe going on.
Yeah.
Like we had to come up with what was similar to all the books, and there are a lot of singular voices with sort of a weird dent to them.
Yeah,
but the best kind of weird, the kind of weird.
Oh, of course,
read,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
No, when I see a drippy zombie dick, like, you've got me. You've won.
We've got that.
But there's several.
yeah, but one in particular in color, very beautiful. Yeah.
And there's some standouts too. I mean, Jamie Jones and Corinne Halbert probably couldn't be further away from each other as far as aesthetic and style.
Right.
But they both are very much Power Pulp, creators. They both fit right under the banner. And I think we can too, Matt, we can make a little bit of announcement of a new member, right? Did we decide we could do that for this? Yeah.
I think we did, yeah. I think we
nice. Breaking news. I appreciate it.
Breaking news.
Jim Rugg is joining the...
no way!
Hey!
Oh!
That's awesome.
That's fucking huge, guys.
Yeah,
that's great.
He fits.
He does.
Phenomenal.
Right.
No, that's great. I mean, and it's a huge feather in your guys' cap, because obviously, I mean, Jim has certainly had tremendous commercial success. You know, he's put a ton of stuff out of Image, and I mean, yeah, that's great,
And
man.
Marvel, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've got a couple other creators that we're going to announce soon as well. It's just that Jim's books are almost to the distribution center. I guess.
Yeah, he said like they were supposed to arrive tomorrow or
so
Saturday or something. Yeah, so
so by the time people hear this, they should be available.
Sure.
On the site.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It really is. There's a couple of nightmare scenarios coming out of the Diamond fallout. People not getting paid, creators not getting paid for books. But the one that really scared me, as someone who makes art, is the warehouse situation, where Diamond had would stock your book in their warehouse under the impetus that they were going to actually distribute this book, right? And then they went under, and they have a warehouse full of paper. And the people who bought Diamond claimed that belongs to them under the purchase agreement for the sale. And so you have a bunch of creators that have thousands and thousands of dollars of product that they can't get to.
It's just it's absolutely criminal. I mean, I don't know what the fine print and those contracts say, but that's so wrong on a moral level.
Right.
Isn't there something to also that there is a court hearing about whether or not they're going to be allowed to do it, but they happen to schedule it for the Monday after Comic-Con, when all of the publishers who are probably, the bigger publishers who are going to be representing themselves at Comic-Con are going to be on planes back home. So they won't be, at things. I think they timed it just like that. I can't believe that that's even a thing. It must have been in the fine print or whatever that they're allowed to even do that.
Yeah. Right. That is the way the world works these days.
Oh, sure it is. Nothing surprises me anymore.
But, I mean, a lot of broken hearts.
A lot of broken hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it. I mean, it's really, it's tragic. I mean, because there's a ton of publishers that, and again, every publisher is not for everyone. I mean, there are certain publishers that maybe aren't our vibe versus some that are, but you see all these different publishers, big, small, and everything in between that are going through this, and it's just heartbreaking because regardless of whether a publisher's making stuff that I personally vibe with, it's irrelevant. Like, it's the fact that they're putting out stuff that's vibing with somebody, and it's creating more breadth and diversity in the industry, and the fact that like it's the diversity that's getting crushed by this, right? Because like the powers that be are going to be fine. I mean, I'm sure maybe they're taking financial pain too, but like again, they have massive corporate overlords that can eat that, and just deal with it. But
it's the smaller guy that's always the one that's getting fucked. So
yeah, like Silver Sprocket, right? I mean, I know.
Or living the line.
What I mean? Yeah. But we talk about we've literally talked about every. I think we've talked about every Silver Sprocket and Living the Line book that's been released in the last couple of years, and it's like the idea that they could be, out of business just because Diamond playing fuckboy games is ridiculous. It's just it's tragic.
It's not going to impact Marvel or DC or Image if they don't get paid for one or two books. But these guys like Silver Sprocket and Living the Line, they don't get paid for one book. They're done. They're finished.
Yeah, it'll destroy them. It's just this industry has been so unhealthy for so long.
Yeah,
because Diamond held that monopoly for so long. And other things, obviously.
Right.
So part of the reason for us doing this too and deciding to distribute ourselves was just the fact that, gosh, man, this industry needs some sort of like healthy mix, so everything isn't just so incestuous and inbred, and one thing like Diamond, what happened with Diamond, could crumble the whole place.
Right.
And we've said amongst ourselves plenty of times, even if this doesn't work out, like at least we tried.
Yeah.
I think there's validity to that. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, right? Oh, go ahead, Vince.
No, what are some of the things, being creators yourself, that you're implementing to protect the creative teams in this endeavor?
Well, they're just in this endeavor, there really isn't any risk for any of the creative teams, other than the cost what it costs them to send their books to the central hub for distribution. There's no, you don't have to pay in.
There's no dues.
Anything like that. I mean, every once in a while, we'll ask members because obviously you got to pay for shipping supplies and you got to pay for web domain, and they're, as a group, we have opportunities to be able to do PR blasts for books when they come out, so people will be able to like join their cash together to be able to do that kind of thing. But it's there's just really not much risk involved, and if you want your books back, then just like ask for them back. That's it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, listen, you guys know I'm the evil capitalist pig in the group.
We know.
True dat.
I know.
True dat.
I know. But Matt, you have to acknowledge that I'm as close to a loving, an adorable capitalist pig as it gets.
You're like the Earth.
Is there such a thing?
You're like the Earth 3 Lex Luthor.
That's right. There you go. Excellent.
There we go.
Okay.
I like that. But no. So like, the way you've described it so far, like, probably our listeners are like, okay, at one point I think they might have thought, oh, this is kind of like Image for indie creators. And then as you kept talking, they might have like, oh, but maybe not that. It sounds more like a model that sounds more like an original art rep group, right? Because like when you talked about how it's not necessarily that you're trying to be gatekeepers, but there's only so many people that you can really give the time and attention to test the model out. And that's, I think, why like art reps, right? Like art reps no art rep should have 50 to 100 clients because they're not going to be able to service them correctly. So like it's a little of a couple different models that like our listeners would be mentally familiar with. So take us through, like, you've mentioned a distribution center. What is so when someone says, okay, I'm part of this, what does that mean? Like where is the distribution center? Do one of you have a contract at this place? Do you own it? Do you know it? Who is handling the books? Who is shipping the books? Like what are the mechanics of it that like make this, like when someone says to you, "Hey, I'm in," like Jim says, "Okay, I'm in." What are you saying? Okay, Jim, this is what you need to do. This is what you're going to get.
So you are showing that you are the true capitalist because you're thinking way bigger than this operation is right now.
Okay.
This entails Jim Rugg sending his books to a kid in Iowa to fill in his basement and then ship them out as orders come in. It's very
two guys in Iowa who are also creators and part of the group, and
must be the Coates guys because they're the
that's right.
Okay,
that's right. Yep, they live very close.
They have
to
a big
each other.
enough kitchen where they can keep all the books.
Totally.
nice
Iowa,
kitchen.
I'm sure that they bought a house for $100,000 that would be located in like Bel Air over here where I am in Los Angeles or something. I'm sure they got space. So so they send it out, and that's basically it. And then the rest of it is just us trying to because everybody is their own small business, right? So everybody is making decisions on printing the books for themselves, and everybody makes their own financial decisions. Still doing kind of what you did before.
Power Pulp is not a publisher; it's a collection of self-publishers.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
From the outside, if you were a store and you got a catalog from us, it looks like we're a publisher, but indeed we're just a bunch of self-publishers all operating to the best of our ability. So when you say what does it take to be in it, someone like Jim just packed up a couple boxes of books and sent them off. He's in. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and it takes the whole group agreeing that you fit in, and then that's it. You pack your books up and send it to us.
I believe Chris told me the story about Jim asking what it takes to be in, and Chris said, "All you got to say is you want to be in, and you're in." That's it.
Yeah. It's been really funny, the reaction, because it's been so hard for a lot of people to wrap their brain around when we explain it, because I think that they're waiting for that like capitalist part of their brain to
what's the catch?
Like what's the catch? What snake oil are you selling? And and how are you profiting from it? And the answer is none for all of that.
Listen, there are plenty of businesses that are nonprofit, right? Like it's not about profit per se, but ultimately, I think any business or service that persists I'm going at this angle because you started off the conversation, Chris, by saying, you guys came up with the idea and then you kind of mentally battle tested it for a few months, saying, how could we be wrong here, right? And you couldn't come up with anything. So, and I think that speaks to successful I'll say businesses in quotes because I know you guys are trying to downplay that this is like a business because that implies profit. But like things that generally persist because they are solving problems for both the people who run the thing and their customers, right? However you define that. So what's the elevator pitch for? Like, I understand the idea here is that it'll help you all. Ideally, it'll help you all get more distribution and more reach and more attention. But how effectively does that work, and what pain point are you solving for either the the LCS owners or the end readers? And I mentioned LCS owners first because, again, looking at your website and talking to you guys, like you already have a number of stores listed as sort of like flagship supporters of the group, which I assume means they've agreed to carry your books. Heroes being one. Shout out to Heroes. Just like what are the pain points that you're solving for people aside from yourselves? Like, I understand the value proposition for you guys, but what is the if I'm a store in New York or Des Moines or Raleigh, like what's the pitch for me about why this is better than you guys emailing me individually and saying I got this kick-ass book, here's a PDF of it, do you want to sell some copies?
Well, that's it. Just, instead of a store wanting to carry Tales to Enlighten and contacting me and paying, they can go to the website and they can carry Tales to Enlighten, and they look at the website and they can also order 5 copies of Chaotic Neutral or 5 copies of, Dino Beast or, so that you can combine shipping and get that wholesaler's discount at the same time.
Yeah, and so like most of the books have a 50% off, retailer price, and then if they order $200 worth of product, which is very easy to do,
sure,
the shipping is free for them. So that is, that's like the basis for a store coming in and doing things. But we also we understand too that the selling of the books and owning the shops is something that obviously we don't do, but we are also our own small businesses. And because of that, like, we just want to help all of these shops and all of these stores, sell as many books as they possibly can. And so we're really open to any of the shops that we work with, having a conversation about how can we help you do that. Whether it be, personal appearances by some of us, because we're spread all over the country at this point, and Canada now, or whether it be like Zoom book clubs or, just anything that we and they can come up with to partner together to make this, again, industry healthy for all of us. So, when you order a book from Image, or Marvel, let's say Marvel, you're picking it up from Diamond or from Lunar or I don't know, whoever, Penguin Random House, I don't know who they distribute with, but
sure. Mm-hmm.
Right. But when you get it from us and you email us, literally one of us creators is the person who's going to answer the email, or if we call you, it's going to be one of the creators from this collective. And so there's a personal touch to it too, you just don't get with, I don't think any other, I'm going to say publisher, but again, we're not a publisher, any other thing that's like us. How about that?
Yeah. And the way it's constructed, you eliminate a lot of the bullshit that involves distribution. Because back in the day, when there was newsstands, a rival publisher would send people out to take their competitors' books and put them under the newspapers or hide them in spots that the regular customers wouldn't think to look, and put their book in instead. You're shipping right to the comic stores. These are men and women who want to recoup their investment. So the books are going to get sold. They're not going to get moved. They're not going to get destroyed. You're dealing with directly with the creators. I think that's it's a brilliant idea because, like I said, a lot of the garbage that comes with distribution is eliminated.
Mm-hmm. And fans, not just stores either, because there's a lot of places that have, comic shop deserts. And we we ship right directly to the fans too. There's fans
Right.
that have just every time we announce somebody, they pick up a whole nother batch and spend good cash, and so we want to take care of them too.
Yeah. The only thing you have to worry about is when you break big. When you do break big, you're going to have people online that are going to try and rip you down and
Yeah, of course.
make a bunch of shit up.
Bring it on. Who gives a fuck?
I know, but again, this is the world in which we live.
You know what, man? Comic creators, if nothing else, are survivors. We can handle a little bit of that. So,
Sounds like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So you guys, like Vince said, you sent us an awesome collection of some of the stuff that that is part of the collective, and one of the things that I thought was interesting is that in a lot of cases the works that you're putting out there are not new, right? Like in some cases they're a few years old, which makes sense because obviously indie creators you have inventory. So like, how much about this is like, like all of you are saying, like I've got like Matt, you've been honest about like you like Tales to Enlighten didn't make you rich, right? Like it was a passion project.
It did not. No.
No, it did not. Right? And you've got a lot. You, as many as we hopefully helped you sell, and you sold your own.
Did.
Like
you did,
but you've still got plenty more. And it's like, so it's like, how much of this is about the idea of like, well, I've got inventory, and I only this isn't my full-time gig. I can't do I can't do a con every week. So I'm willing to sort of like anything I can do to help me get rid of my inventory. Like, is there a part of that? And then like with that, then like how often do you see the catalog being refreshed? Because again, I think you did a really nice job. Again, if people go to their website, they will find a PDF, almost like a catalog, like a mini previews, which I think is great. And it's well timed because unfortunately we're at a time where previews is going by the wayside. So we're in a world now, as much as it pains me, where whether you're a retailer or a podcast like us or whatever that want to talk about this stuff or buy this stuff, we're getting multiple catalogs now. We're kind of getting used to this idea of like, okay, I have to look at 10 different PDFs each month. So you have this PDF though, and it's well put together, and it talks about who you each are, the works you've done, a little bit of bio. I think it's really well done. But like, do you envision the need or plan to continue to refresh this? Like, because again, I don't know. Like Matt, like it's interesting to me. It's interesting that you're a part of it because, like, at least as far as we've had you on the show and we've kept in contact with you, like, I don't know, at least unless you're breaking news here, I don't know that you're planning on sort of like on a regular basis putting out new comics, at least not on, so like it, like is like, what's the impetus for you other than like you have plenty of Enlightened that you'd love to get people?
Right. Well, so basically, since we're just launching all this fresh, everybody's of course going to throw their back stock into their whatever they have, which is what I did, and I continue to make these crazy zines, and I have been writing a new series, even though I said I was retired.
Oh, nice.
I'm supposedly working with this artist that people know, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's great.
It's me. It's me.
There we go. Excellent.
So
we will be refreshing it for sure.
Yeah, we do envision it being refreshed. It's especially since we have new people coming on all the time. Not all the time, but we do have some more new people since the catalog was made. So we'll be refreshing it for that point, and then we have new books coming too. Like the James Coates has a Kickstarter that's coming off probably next week, and after the Kickstarter finishes, the new book will be in the catalog. And everybody is making new stuff. I mean, I'm probably the slowest of all of them, but everybody else is churning stuff out, and it will be refreshed as it's available.
Yeah, that's almost great. Everybody, just looking at it right now, almost everybody has something that is forthcoming, like, soon in the pipeline. Jamie's got his Spacao coming out quarterly. And the Coates brothers are both working on new things. Tony Farrow is just a beast. He's got I think maybe just the one new book coming out. There's a new Charles has got a new book coming. Yep, Charles Glaubitz has a new book coming. I think that looking at it, everybody, because Corinne Halbert still has another issue coming out, and Scott Gerard Rule has a new Future Lux coming out. There's more 8 Men of the Apocalypse coming out. Yeah, like literally everybody has new things coming out. So we will be refreshing it quite a bit. I'll be churning stuff out. I kind of at some point in trying to build my career, because I've been lucky enough to I'm going on my, I think, 7th year of being a full-time comic creator, having left my teaching job and somehow surviving in paying Los Angeles rent this long off of comics. But I was fighting for so long in my career to try to get publishers to pay attention. And at some point I just kind of went, fuck it. I'm just going to blaze my own trail, do my own thing. And I'm really going to go all in on this self-publishing thing and just do my own work. And then, got this started rolling and everything. And then all of a sudden, wouldn't you know it, the publishers started paying attention to me. So right now I'm just doing a bunch of, I've got a Dark Horse book that's coming out, an Image thing that just came out. And so like, I'm having to find time in between to work on my own self stuff, but I'll be having stuff come out too. And, like we just said, Matt and I have a project planned. So, more will be coming for sure.
You guys are deluging us with great new news today.
Yeah, you go to the website, and the first thing you see is the Charles Globitz book. Mm-hmm. I love Charles. I think he's a very talented dude. His trilogy from Fantagraphics to Starseeds, I think is brilliant.
Fucking love it, dude.
Ask me what it's about. I have no idea.
It's visually stunning, though.
Man.
Oh,
He is on a psychedelic spiritual journey that you just got to take the ride. You just got to get in the seat, like turn everything off and tune in and turn on and drop out.
It's right.
That dude is deep, yeah.
It's like he gives me a plate full of delicious things, all of which are very enlightening on their own, but I don't know how they all fit together, and I really don't care, because everything is just so beautiful. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Definitely a bag, like order a mushroom pizza. How about that? And eat it.
One of the things that really got me excited was The Chaotic Neutral by Mark Sable and somebody named Chris Anderson. I love fantasy, and a bloody body fantasy romp in the style of AD&D. You got me there, but if you visually wrap it in a module that actually works, like the inside and covers are in cyan.
Yes.
What?
Yep.
And you get the whole module in the back with stats and creatures and maps, and it's crazy. And the comic would have been enough, but the module pushes it into like holy shit territory.
Man, Mark,
and then we get a chick tract at the end, which I absolutely adored.
Oh yeah, that Ryan Brown drew. Yeah, yep. The module was supposed to be just like a quick, half-hour one and done dungeon dive. But if you, Mark, if I get an email from Mark Sable, it's like breaks my computer. It's so long, and so all of a sudden the module came back, and it was like, we play tested it, and I was like, this is going to take us a week and a half to play, which is great. It's value, right?
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. And then Ryan Brown has got the chick tracks in there. So Ryan Brown is also it sounds like is joining the Power Pulp crew.
Nice.
And
okay.
And
That was the most reluctant announcement I've ever heard.
Right?
Seriously. Is it because Charles Soule's coming with him, or just
No. He's going to be bringing. I think he's going to be bringing God Hates Astronauts to.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
So but see again, it's like the thing is, you asked if it was just like friends, people you know. It's comics. It's a very small world. Everybody knows everybody.
That is true.
It sounds like a great support system with everybody that's involved, and as friendly as everybody is with each other, and how it seemed to have formed organically. But I mean, everybody's been doing this, so there's great. Nobody's just working on their own at home trying to figure out if it's all going to work. You guys can obviously keep in touch and find out what's working and what's not, and encourage everybody. And I adore that. That's
the best part of the collective is you don't have to do everything. You know.
Yep.
You know, all these guys can just repost my Instagram post or whatever. You know, they don't got to spend. They can actually be drawing instead of, coming up with their daily posts.
Right, and through Discord, we kind of have an old fashioned Marvel style bullpen where we can we're all kind of constantly discussing subjects at hand and paper, like really super sexy things like paper stock and new pens.
Oh, nothing's more fun than talking about nibs. Do you guys envision cons as being a part of this? Like, do you, having a Power Pulp table or two where you guys are set up? Because I would imagine that the collection of you you all if you all go to a lot of cons like in total, right? Like maybe like maybe you go to 3 or 4, or someone else goes to 3 or 4, but if you probably all cover 20 to 30 cons over a year. Do you envision having a Power Pulp vibe to some of these cons where you table as Power Pulp, so that Chris, if you're at a show and someone else at a show, but maybe the other guys aren't, you can have their books with you too? I mean, is that sort of something you're at least thinking about as helping this too?
Yeah, we've discussed stuff like that. I mean, it's certainly an idea. We'd love to, down the road, if this proves to be a successful venture, and that would be great to table, get 5 of us together or something.
Right.
Yeah, if any cons out there that are listening want to have us as a guest and offer us 5 tables and some hotel rooms, we'll be there. With bells on.
Yeah.
So
how would you define success? Like in other words, like you've said a couple times, if this is a success, 6 months from now, how do you define success? Is it that you've moved a certain number of units, or you feel like everybody's sold a few? I'm just how will each of you specifically look back on this in 6 months and say, yeah, this is working. Let's see how we can continue to push forward.
I mean, personally, it's going to be about the shops that Power Pulp itself gets into as a whole. I'd like to reach, by the end of the year, I'd like to get into at least 300 shops, and we'll see if we can manage that. And I'm not even thinking about myself at this point, because there's just so many members of the group here to also lift up. It's going to be just about getting more books into the hands of fans than we would have before we had started this, and that's already happening. So in my mind, it's already a success, but growing it for future success, I can see a lot of different things that would that could potentially be beneficial for us as Power Pulp, things like you said, conventions and things like that, but there's a lot of other avenues that we can go down as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. How about this? A Power Pulp exquisite corpse book, where everybody under the Power Pulp banner gets to do a page.
Mm-hmm.
One person starts a story. It's handed off to the next person. They write that page and draw that page, hand it off to and so on and so on. And that's a way for the uninitiated to see the art and storytelling from everybody underneath the Power Pulp banner.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like an awesome idea. I think that in association with 11 O'Clock Comics now, since you've came up with the idea.
Well, I mean, who doesn't have I could say if you gave somebody a 5-6 page story, that's a burden. But one page, who doesn't have time for 1 page a month? You know what I mean?
Are you throwing your hat in the ring, Vince? Vince, are you joining the Power?
Well, I'm just saying.
Is this another announcement?
We're gonna have to vote.
right.
See how Jim
that's
feels about it.
I gotta get on another Discord here real quick.
Yeah.
Up for the rest of the
Only so many drippy zombie ding dongs that can be shown under the Power Pulp banner. No, I think it's a cool way to showcase the art of all the people.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're definitely, and we are trying to sort of come up with different ways that we can do some sort of like fundraising that isn't going to take a whole lot of time from each of the creators, because really fast you'll find out that the whole point of this is supposed to be to ease some of the pressures of being a self-publisher by spreading it around, and you can very easily start spitballing ideas, and then all of a sudden it's way more work than you had before, and that's not what it's supposed to be. But like you said, a page from everybody or something like that to do some sort of fundraiser or something is a really great idea. So might have to think about something like that.
Think about that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that Vince, I'm excited that you're joining. That's going to be great.
So good to be home.
Hanging out Ryan Brown, yeah.
Right. So, obviously it's a time-tested problem that a lot of LCSs have been reluctant for a myriad reasons to carry, indie books, creator-owned books. And again, the explanations vary from like they just don't have the time, or they don't know if they sell, whatever. What is your approach to making them aware that you all exist, right? Because like obviously, again, your point is you're not a publisher, so it's not like you're, going to be out there. So I'm just like, are you looking to? Is some part of the group looking to, like do outbound marketing? Like, are a couple of you good at that? Like, are you going to be reaching out to stores that are indie friendly and say, hey, we exist. What do you think? Or is it you just kind of relying on word of mouth? I'm curious the approach there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be hitting the pavement harder in the coming weeks and months to have more one-on-one interactions with indie-friendly stores. Obviously, there's a lot of stores out there that just are set in their ways. But I like to say that like our books are, because we walk this sort of tightrope. On one side, there's plenty of books in there that your average Wednesday, I hate this term, but Wednesday warrior, that is just dead set on only buying Spider-Man and Batman. There are going to be Power Pulp books that you will love. And people who are more of like the Fantagraphics crowd, there are going to be Power Pulp books that you love, and I think that we're sort of the bridge between those two worlds that could possibly open up the minds and the third eye for a lot of comic fans that are, sort of have been afraid to dip their toe to the other side. So I think that like we could fit in quite a few shops that aren't even like super indie friendly, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We've talked about also trying to expand into like, everybody has tried to do it for a long time, but into record stores and, other oddity shops that are not the usual comic centric places. But that's going to be a tougher nut to crack, I think.
Sure.
But we're gonna give it a shot somehow.
Sure. Well, so, I mean, this is super cool on our ends, obviously. I mean, one of the things I think that we were excited to have you guys on about is just that, for the vast preponderance of those of you that are already part of it, I mean, we have read and enjoyed a lot of your books, right? Like, we already know your stuff and have tried to be advocates for it. So, I mean, this is right up our alley. But, what's the, like, as we sort of get ready to let you guys go for the night, like, how should we leave it with our listeners in terms of what's the way that we can best help spread the word? If people are interested in your books, is there a direct to the consumer model here? Right? Like, is there, like, in other words, like if people are like, oh, this kind of sounds good. We trust the EOC guys. Like, we know this, they have good taste, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I want their stuff. Can they go to the site eventually, and will they eventually be able to just buy the stuff directly? So just
Yeah. So the
so
the website is like a two-prong attack. One, we do want to get store. If you're a store, there's a spot you could register an account and get the wholesale pricing. But there is everything listed on the website. If you just go there right now, is at retail prices for quote end users or readers. It's like so you can. It's definitely you can order stuff from us directly. Yes,
right now.
Because
Nice.
if you have a store like mine who regularly drops the ball on things, this is where you can get the good stuff.
Nice. And we've talked about this mysterious site, but we haven't mentioned it. So it's Power Pulp Comics. Very good URL, by the way. PowerPulpComics.com. So nice, clean URL. Nothing like .io or .gov. Like it's nice. You got a good old fashioned PowerPulpComics.com. So respect the SEO farm wasn't hoarding that and tried to bend you over for the URL.
No.
So that's great.
They did for Power Pulp, just Power Pulp. But once we added the
Okay.
comic, we were good.
Well, Power Pulp could imply a lot of things. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's actually better.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I mean, listen, obviously we're rooting for you. As I hope you guys just keep us surprised when you all have new books or any business updates as well. We'll obviously be more than happy to shout them out on the show as and keep everybody apprised of your evolution. I also love that you guys kind of said, hey, we're doing our thing, but that doesn't mean that like anyone listening can't also try and do like another version of this, which I think is great. I think we're in a weird time right now where, I never really feel like a doomsayer with the comic stuff because I guess comics have persisted forever and I love them too much. So I'm going to say that like we're in a period of change, but like I think change is good. Like it's an industry that like needs plenty of change and evolution. So, like, I hope you guys are a part of it, and I hope, like, you do, find a niche that works. And I don't see why not. Like, based on the quality of the people involved in the books that we've personally enjoyed, but also stuff that's that's still to be enjoyed. I mean, I think we can all say definitively that the quality is there, right? Like, it's not just you're not just a bunch of jabronis trying to like peddle your stuff. Like, it's really good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, thanks for coming on. And is there anything you guys want that we didn't hit up before we let you go? That before we let you go, just kind of parting words?
Well, I'll say that I've got they just announced my Dark Horse book with I'm doing a book with David Lapham and the guys Dan Houser and Laszlo, who are the guys who created Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption video games, are writing it, and Shelley Bond is editing it, and they're announcing that big panel at San Diego this weekend. So it's kind of exciting. Kind of exciting to see that book finally be something that I can talk about because I've been working on it for quite a while. In fact, I'm just about to start issue 7 of it. But that's coming out, and so that's about all I have to say about that.
Well, congratulations, man. That's great.
Thanks. Yeah.
Big names.
Yeah, I guess
Matt,
it'd be a fun one.
Matt, I know you've got the
almost
zines,
as cool
like
as
you
being
said.
on here tonight, but yeah.
Yeah, right? Matt, you're putting up the zines, I know, so.
Yeah, I'm putting out some zines, and if you're looking for me, you can find me on a roof in Ashland, Massachusetts tomorrow. Or moving all these boxes of books in my basement. I mean, this is where you can find me. But no, I am working on some scripts for Chris and I, and if Chris's schedule lets up at all, I'm definitely gonna force him to work.
Awesome. Well, as a ardent art collector, I knew Chris as a illustrator before I knew him as a comic creator or person. He's a very talented illustrator. So
indeed,
yes.
Thanks,
so much
man.
love to you there. And I the idea of a Matt King, Chris Anderson comic gets me turgid more than a Viagra might. So
Oh boy,
very excited by that. Oh, relax.
All
You're
right,
61. Don't act like you don't know about Viagra. Mr.
61. What are you adding years to my life?
You're
This is
almost
the guy-
61.
this
You're
is
soon
the
to be
guy-
61.
this is the
That's
guy that
true,
has to
yeah.
cut his lawn in 2 days.
Hey, don't be telling people that.
It's not because it's old, it's because of the size of it, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
big.
We're gonna dedicate the book to Jason's wife.
That's
Respect. She's never read a comic in her life, so that might be a little lost on her. But okay.
Yeah. She'll start with this one.
Yeah, that's right. All right,
Now, guys,
gentlemen,
really
yeah.
do appreciate you having us on.
Yeah.
You guys made a big difference on my sales and with the promotion of Tales to Enlighten. And I can only imagine that if people trust your taste in comics, which is varied.
Damn, Dad, that's a shot right at you. He's taking shots right at you.
Triangle Superman recommendations and stuff. So,
That's right, baby. Fuck yeah.
but this shit's a little bit weirder and, dare I say, even more interesting. So stop by the website for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thanks, boys.
All right,
Thanks,
gentlemen. Have a
guys.
great night, and we look forward to following along.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Take care of yourself.
Those are two good dudes, man. And it was nice to hear from Matt again, since we haven't had him on since Tales to Enlighten. But and Chris, we talked to when we were at Heroes. I've got that great Lobo behind me that he did for me, and like Jason said, we've known him as a commissioned artist, as an illustrator, for a minute. But the whole idea behind Power Pulp, I'm a big fan of. They've got a great bunch of creators, and I'm looking forward to where they're going.
It's true. And as every guest, like, they were good guests because they broke news, right? Like, how many?
Oh yeah,
times
that's yes.
If we had like major creators on that we're friends with, and they don't tell us dick, and then it's like a week later they're like, "Oh, hey, I'm putting out this huge new book." And it's like, bro, you were right here. You were just on the show. Like, could you throw us a bone and break that news on the show? And they're like, sorry, dude. But like these dudes, they broke some news. I appreciated that.
Big time.
Yep.
Vince is speechless. He's rendered speechless from the interview.
No, I think they got a good thing going. I hope it's very successful, not from a monetary standpoint, but from a monetary standpoint, but from a point of getting these books out there to people who want to read them.
Yeah.
Fuck
sure.
Diamond.
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. I gotta say though, real talk, I am apoplectic over the trying to find what comics to order process right now. It is. I mean, I'm sure we'll adjust. We're all adaptable creatures, but like, I desperately miss knowing that I'm going to get previews. And I mean, I know we've had DC and Marvel separate for a while, but like, at least from the way I get it, I would get them all together, right? Like in a shipment, I'd be like, okay, and I'd sit down and I'd read them all in one fell swoop. The fact that like right now I have to basically find a bunch of different publishers' PDFs or onlines and then piece them together and make sure I don't miss anything. It's like, it tells me that like the average like comic fan is gonna buy less non-big 3 books, right? Because like it's just gonna be harder to even know they exist. At least for now, until they figure out the process.
Well,
right.
There's a problem when the main distributor of these things make it difficult for you to see the catalogs unless you buy them. They should be free. Stop printing them on paper. Just go exclusively digital and let anybody who wants to download your catalog download it.
Yeah, I mean,
problem
these days,
solved.
To your point, like, I understand, like, because God, what was like 10, 15, 20 years ago, people used to be like, man, previews is like, why do you got to pay for it? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's a 500-page full color, periodical they're putting out. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable to charge you $4, right? Like, I think that's pretty reasonable, especially in a world where we're paying $3-4 for a comic. But to your point, Vince, like, the cost of digital distribution for like that kind of thing now is so de minimis that I don't think it's going to be much of a cost of beyond doing business of putting your stuff out for free. I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe people are going to listen to this and be like, dude, you have no idea how much it costs. But like, I don't think it would be that expensive to, to put up a nice digital PDF or something.
I think whomever printed the previous catalog had a sweet deal, but it's still thousands and thousands of dollars to print.
Oh, the print, yes, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying I'm agreeing with you on the internet, though.
Yeah,
the internet version shouldn't be expensive at all, right?
No, pay some lackey whatever an hour to lay the thing out, and you're done. You have no printer's bill. You have no packing and shipping bill. You just get it out there.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it would have taken a couple of hours to download this. Right now, seconds. So just get it out. Use the technology.
Do you remember like setting up your computer before you went to bed at night to start like downloading some shit so that you could have it the next day? Do you remember that? Because you'd be like, "Oh, this is going to take a few hours."
Dude, Duke Nukem took me forever to download, and it was like 4 megs. And it would be like, I would call my friend, "Did you get it all? No. Did you get it all yet? No." And we just wait for this damn thing to come in.
Dude, that was the worst. Like you'd queue up like 2 or 3 songs, like MP3s, and be all stoked to hear them the next day, and then you'd like wake up and like one of them didn't download because it like crashed, and you're like, "Fuck." Mm-hmm. She's like, "All right, I guess I'll start again and hope it's here when I'm done work."
I've never downloaded music.
Really? Like really?
Really?
Like legally or illegally?
I don't. To buy a song for $1, it doesn't make sense to me. I'll just go buy the album.
Well, but what about like in those years before we had iTunes? And I mean, I'm not gonna. I've said I'm not gonna be modest. And I mean, I like many people pirated the shit out of music for those few years.
Yeah, no, like LimeWire and stuff and Napster. Yeah. I never did any of that. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but like, because you're coming. I know you're not intending to, but you're coming off like Defender of Virtue here.
No,
you are, as you said in early years of VOC, you were not averse, at least at some point in your life, of downloading a shit ton of content. So like, it's not that you're again. So was it music somehow was more sacred to you, or just?
Yeah, I wanted to have the actual product, the book.
Interesting. Okay.
The whole thing.
Okay. Yeah, respect. I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's fine. My point was more that like a song is tiny, right? Like a song file is tiny. It takes a millisecond to download, and like back in the day, like it literally took hours. You'd hoped that overnight it worked. Yeah. But now we can download a 3-hour movie in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I don't have any music on my phone.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not a fan of digital music. Scratch that. Obviously, if I buy a CD, I'm buying digital music. Even if it was recorded in analog, it was processed digitally. It's digital music. But like when I'm in the car to play, I don't play music in the car. It's just something I've never done. Back when I had a cassette player, I would, or a CD player, yeah. But to stream stuff from my phone I just don't do it.
I don't know. Fascinating to me.
It's weird. Yeah. I know I'm an outlier these days, but I've never done it. I just don't do it.
Ah, man. Good for you. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
There you go.
There you go.
Comics. Let's talk about them.
Can I tell you about a weird bit of conceptual continuity?
Sure.
Okay. And we'll talk about this book in a second, but I read and loved Brain Damage by Shintaro Kago. Or Kago? I don't know if it's Kago or Kago, but
Kago.
You would know. Kago, okay. But I know that you have spoken about Shintaro's work previously.
Sure.
So I went to our handy-dandy website to say, let me see what else by this creator Vince has talked about, so that we can... And you talked about it, well, again, and as good as our notes are, you spoke about him per our website notes twice before. In episode 542, you spoke about Pretty Girls Collection Super Dimensional Love Gun. And then in episode 924, so much more recently, that was May of last year, you spoke about Dementia 21. Now, here's where I say conceptual continuity and like the world is a weird thing. In our show notes for that episode, so this is about 14 months ago, where we last spoke about Shintaro Kago's work. We also spoke about the Sixth Gun because the collection came out. Now, the weird thing about that is that this week, completely unbeknownst to me, I read this Shintaro Kago book and the first issue of the newly relaunched Sixth Gun.
How about
That's
that?
fucking bizarre to me. That's bizarre, dude. That's the cosmos
That's
telling you
great.
that everything is connected, even if you don't realize it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came to that conclusion.
You brought me there. You've my inexplicable love affair with you has brought me there after nearly 20 years.
Why are you being nice to me now?
Because I love you.
He's always nice to you.
Yeah. Lurch. Yeah, DJ Lurch.
Oh, come on. Because it was MC Lurch. MC Surge. MC Surge is a white rapper. MC Lurch. It just was the point.
Yeah, it was funny, I guess. So tell me about brain damage. Because I don't have
Well, I didn't know if you were going to ban me from talking about it because
No,
you
I
didn't
don't. No. Why would I do that?
Well, sometimes you're like, yo, don't
I'm
do
not
that.
petty, am I?
No, it's not petty. Well, anyway, okay. All credit to you. I ordered this book because of your prior recommendations of Shintaro's work and my subsequent buying them after you talked about them and realizing how badass he was. So when Fantagraphics solicited this new collection from him, I was like, oh, this is a must buy. Like, it's a lock. No questions asked. But again, because you put me onto him. First of all, the book is gorgeous. And it's Fantagraphics. Fantagraphics, world class in this. But, like, the cover is just absurd. And, like, it's funny because I was taken by the cover as I'm starting to read the book, but then after reading the book, I have a greater appreciation for the cover because the cover is a woman. The right side of her, it's like one of those drawings where you've got a symmetrical face with a line down the middle, and you see to the right is her, her normal face with skin and whatnot, and then to the left is the interior of her face, but it's not anatomical. Like when I first looked at the book, I just thought it was like a if you peel back the skin, you'd see all the organs and muscle and stuff. But that's actually not what this is. And I didn't realize it until after I read the book. The image is actually a bunch of like cut up bodies and crushed up cars, and then an eye, and that's all part of this collection. Again, it was like it's fascinating to how I saw like how your brain processes imagery, and you don't realize that sometimes you don't even see what you think you're seeing. I looked at this book, thought I saw, oh, okay, this is just like for some reason he's got half of her body. I'm seeing her internals, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, this is totally different. But regardless of that, Brain Damage is a collection. It is it's in many ways it's we've read a lot of manga of horror manga anthologies over the years, right? Like that's a fairly common form factor that publishers bring over to the US. And this is another one of those. It is a collection of short stories, and they all the commonality is that they are visceral body horror. Just like really, really gruesome body horror. And so, you should be, forewarned is forearmed if you're listening to this. I know we got a recent comment from one of the saying, hey, y'all talk about some gross stuff too much. And it's like, well,
it's not y'all. No, clarify.
Well,
it was me.
Yeah.
The review was geared toward you, but one of the many issues I took with the review is that we all talk about viscerally disgusting things at times.
Sure.
Maybe Dap less than us, to be fair. Dap's not as apt to go into that realm, but I will give you a pass in that, like, sure, maybe 10 years ago you were the body horror guy on the show, but, like, I am with you with that, right? Like, I talk about plenty of gross shit. Like,
yeah.
It's not... Point being, this is that. So if your delicate sensibilities...
Give me an idea, though. For an EOC merch, we should have a string of plastic pearls with an EOC logo on it, and they can clutch them. Yes.
We would make so much bank. Get on that.
I know.
Love it. So this is a hardcover collection from Fana, and it's got 4 stories. So it's a relatively tight anthology, and it's like 150, 160 pages. So that should tell you each of these anthology stories is much longer than than the stuff we're used to talking about when we talk about manga horror. And I think in some cases that works in this book's favor. In other cases, it works against it. I will cut this straight down the middle. No pun intended with the cover. But it is kind of funny. I loved two of the stories. I thought two of the stories were exceedingly too long for the fact that I saw the punchline 20, 30 pages before they gave it to us, right? But collectively, like if I'm going to give the two that I saw coming a mile away a C, and then the two others an A, then it's still more than worth your time because Keigo's art is phenomenal, and I'm a fan of horror comics of any form, and so I really did enjoy this. In as much as I think, but to be clear, like I really, really enjoyed two of the stories, and I thought two of the stories were just okay. I don't want to get into them in any great detail because I want you all to enjoy it. But I will say that like the one I will kind of talk about because it's just to kind of maybe whet the appetite is the first, which is called Labyrinth Quartet, and it's basically a woman wakes up. She's been knocked out, right, and then somehow she wakes up in a new place. It's a relatively common trope in storytelling. She wakes up in a room and she doesn't know where she is, and she's looking around. She sees another person laying unconscious, and she wakes her up, and it's her. She's looking at a mirror, and then they look in the other corner of the room, and there's another girl, and they wake her up, and oh my god, it's her too. And then there's a fourth girl, and so these four women are all coming to from being knocked out, and they're like, wait a minute, you're me, I'm you. What's going on? I don't have a sister. Blah blah blah. Are we clone? Like they're freaking out, right? They don't know what the hell's going on. Like my name is so and so. I'm so and so. They have different last names. They have different people. But they come to the conclusion like we must be clones. But then one of them's like, well, hold on a second. Like you have a birthmark here. Like I'm taller. I'm much taller than you. Like we can't be clones. Like what the hell's going on, right? And so they're confused. Needless to say, like that's the whole idea. So they're like, okay, let's see what the fuck's going on. So they assume the door is locked, but then one's like, let's try the door, and the door's not locked. And they open the door, and there's just this like labyrinthian set of concrete corridors, and they start walking through them, and one opens a door, and she opens this door, and this is where I'm like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this book. She opens the door, and there are four other versions of them that look just like them, completely dismembered. Like viscerally dismembered, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Right? And so they freak out. They start running around, and next thing they know, a killer in like some kind of mask. It's like a Jason mask. It's like a hockey mask, but not exactly. It's actually a mask with four square holes in it, versus like the two eye holes, and then two holes like right below the eye holes. And they're have a big cleaver, and they kill one of the girls, and this becomes a pretty straightforward like slasher thing where the girls are running away trying to escape, and this killer's just destroying them, like dismembering them as they find them, and they keep like opening up different doors and rooms, and they keep finding more versions of themselves like destroyed and stuff, and eventually they find a room and they close themselves off in it, and they try and bar the door and try and keep themselves safe. And again, this is horror manga, so you can guess that it doesn't quite work. But the reveal of who the murderer is was absolutely gobsmackingly fascinating. And I'm not going to tell you what the reveal was, because that would be defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fascinating, and it really did. It took me from thinking, okay, this is just like a slasher story. It was like I was enjoying it, but I was like, okay, yeah, like I've seen it. I've seen and read a million of these, but I was like, oh shit, like this is interesting twist. And then from there, they went into this almost meta commentary about like creating a permanent art exhibit that would be like a manga horror story. Like in other words, like the killer was recreating a manga that they enjoyed. And I thought, well, that's weird. Like, okay, like you got me here. So I read these four stories, and again, I love two of them. I thought two were okay. But then to Fantagraphics and Keigo's credit, at the end of the hardcover, there are little vignettes about each of the four stories, which Keigo calls episodes, and he explains that each of these like really grotesquely overt body horror stories are body horror stories meant to play upon manga tropes, each one being his body horror version of a classic manga trope that he wanted to highlight. And I just thought that was like, it's just my head exploded because I was like, that's fucking really cool. Because like, if you just give me horror manga that's well drawn and gory, I'm into it. Like, I love horror stuff. But now you're telling me, and then I go back and think about it. I'm like, oh, this does all make sense. There was a meta component to this too, about the very craft of the thing that you do. So I went from like thinking this is really cool. I'm glad I read it. Like, followed away with the myriad of other horror stuff that we've read before, to thinking no, this is like a whole nother level. Like, this is contextually another level. And so again, I won't reveal the tropes because I think like that's a really like kapow thing when you read at the end, like what he was trying to say about manga and some of the commonalities that you find in manga and the repetitive stuff that you find in manga. But I just thought this was a masterful collection. And, again, Vince, you've talked about Kago before, so this isn't the first rodeo here with the dude, but like he's another manga master, and we just are in a halcyon time with all of these companies like Kodansha and Fanta and Viz, obviously, bringing this stuff to our to our shores. And so salute. And for those of you that love horror and or love horror manga, you absolutely need to add to your order list or gift list or what have you, Brain Damage by Shintaro Kago.
I agree with you.
Okay. I hear a but though coming.
Kago's a weird dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see a psychological profile of him, because I don't know what it was. Somewhere along his development, a woman.
I remember you made this point last year when you
he's not kind to women, especially younger women that have a very particular look, the bobbed hair, the
That's what this is. These women all look like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the slight frame. And his manga is one thing, and it's all body horror, visceral, guttural kind of stuff where you see the insides of the women pulled out in a very interesting geometric way. But he does a lot of work that he puts on his socials of like single panel images, and a lot of them, they are women being stuck in a meat grinder or chopped in half, or who wronged you along the way.
Yeah.
I just got to know. I mean, I love this. This stuff is great, but it almost makes you feel that maybe I should be looking at this. Maybe that there's something very strange and unhealthy going on here, but the aesthetics of it are perfect. They're beautiful, but the content is very twisted and strange. And that's what brings me to the table more often than not. Like, I can see art of his style in a lot of different people, but when it's a consistent thread that trails through his entire career, and he uses it in ways, like you said, that expound upon 4 manga tropes, then it becomes something else. Yes, it's still twisted, but he's using it to in a, I don't even know if I should say this, in a healthier way. He's working through some demons. There's definitely something there, but he's doing it in a way that I think is healthier than just drawing maimed and bloody women in interesting ways.
Yeah. Well, you actually reminded me of 2 other things I wanted to say. The first is the story I talked about. As I'm reading it, I'm thinking like, oh, this is dude's kind of like take on incel, right? Like, okay, there's some because there were parts of it as they're trying to figure out like why they're all there and why they're the same. Like, they find like notes and ephemera and stuff and like yearbooks, and they conclude that like dude is like in love with the version of them from high school and
Right.
unrequited. So I'm like, this is Kago's like, kind of, treatise on incel culture, right? I'm like, okay, like cool, like bet. Obviously, again, I'm being vague, like, but that is not. I think he's leading you there, like that's what he wants you to think as you're reading the whole. But then at the end, you're like, oh shit, it wasn't that, which I think is respect that he veered. The other thing, and again, I gotta call it a buck here. One of the stories which I did not discuss does have illustrated incest, so like I gotta throw it out there because I don't want people to like think I'm like go and buy this book because I recommend it, and then you're feeling some kind of way because like so there is incest in one of the four stories, and again, if that is a trigger for you, I want to make sure I mention it so that you don't procure this.
Yeah, but it's not real, people.
It's not. But again, I the last thing I want people to hear me say, oh, it's great harm, and then you read it and you're like, what the fuck, Wood? So like there is and it was disturbing, and I don't want to like it was definitely one of the two I didn't enjoy, but it is there. So yeah,
right. If there's a transgressive thing that exists in the world that is universally despised and illegal, I don't think it should be so in works featuring lines on paper. Right?
We've talked about this before.
Yes.
Again, I respect your opinion on it. And again, I just recommended a book that has it, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. I'm just saying, but I do think it is important to let people know ahead of time because it can be a sort of all or nothing thing. Like if killing an animal will put people off like DAP, where you're like, I'm not reading it, I would imagine that incestual depictions of art are something that would put lots more people off, and so I just want to make it clear, hey, if that is a deal breaker for you because you can't separate the art from the concept, you shouldn't disregard everything I just said.
It is a horror book called Brain Damage, though.
No, we're on the same page, but we don't need to convince ourselves. I'm saying, but there are plenty of people that listen to the show that are like, I'm glad you told me because I'm not going to buy that. That's fine.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Waiting for my copy.
Well, that's why I tried to keep it vague, bro.
You could have gone into detail. It wouldn't have bothered me.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
But it was great. I mean, I think, he's Dementia 21 was great. He's great.
The level of detail, the intense mark making that he invests in each of his drawings is insane.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's very slow either. Because, I mean, I've seen his socials. They're flooded with images. And it's like, where do you find the time to draw all those lines? Like, it's unbelievable. All right. I have something.
I hope so. I mean, what?
And
here.
I think it's not only noteworthy, but it is the most noteworthy book, to my estimation, in the Richard Corben library. Why? Why is it noteworthy? Well, Richard was working on this book at the time of his death, and it was unfinished. The last 27, 23 pages were unfinished. He penciled the entire thing. I think he inked most of it, or whatever passes for inking in the Corben world, and he colored a lot of it, but the last chunk was unfinished at the time of his death in 2020. So I've never read this. Corben fans have never seen this book before. It was written and illustrated by Richard Corben, with assistance by his daughter, Beth Corben Reed, and Jose Villarrubia. It's published by Dark Horse, and it is another volume in the Richard Corben library called Dimwood.
Yeah, right here.
Do you like gothic horror? Is that your thing? Well, if it is, then put your socks and your shoes on and run right out and get yourself a copy of Dimwood. Because in the tradition of, say, Hammer Films or Amicus Productions and the stuff that Richard Corben did for American International, like the Poe cycle. This is a Gothic horror tale. It has many of the tropes explored in that genre. It's a very simple tale. A woman named Zira, her last name is Dim, travels back to the place of her birth to attend the funeral of her mother. That's the setup. Simple, right? But as she's making her way to the cemetery, she gets into a little bit of problems with her car. I won't be specific, but her brother steps in to help her. And she's like, Noah, I haven't seen you in so long. And he's like, come on, I'll lead you through the woods and take you to the cemetery. So they get to the cemetery, and there she obviously is reacquainted with people she knew when she was a child. Like there's a family cook called Henna, and there's a handyman called Furbol. And she's there for the burying of her mother, and they're like, well, how'd you get here? She's like, Noah took me. And they're all, wait a minute, Noah's been gone for 15 years. Presumed dead. We don't know. He just left one day and never came back. And she's like, he's right. And he's not there. So that's part of the Gothic tinge. The woods surrounding the estate, the Dim estate, is called Dimwood Forest. And it seems to shift and move in strange ways. She seems to think she sees things in the woods that may or may not be there. It all goes back to her mother was very wealthy with the 2 children, and her husband died. So she remarried a man named Virgil Dim, who at first was a good father, but then something happened to Virgil, and he became very abusive. And oddly enough, he became addicted to this fungus, this mushroom substance that grew on the bounds of Dimwood Forest. So he cultivated these mushrooms, and I'll leave it at that. I won't say too much about it, but the Dimwood estate is beautifully drawn. It's Richard Corben, so it could not be beautifully drawn. But you can actually smell the mustiness of the place. And everybody's like, well, where are you staying? She's like, well, I'm staying in the old homestead. They're like, I don't think that's a good idea. That's not prudent to do that. But she stays there anyway. And things happen. She comes upon a young girl named Karen, naked, young child naked, interrupts the funerary services. And so Zira kind of takes the child and protects it to a point, but there's a creature in this story that, had this not been Richard Corben's last work, you'd be like, God damn, that's a good creature. But I think to go out on this creature, having created this, designed and illustrated this creature, I think it's a good period at the end of the Corben sentence, right? It is absolutely horrific. It's disturbing and disgusting, and it has the trademark Corben creature-ism that he likes to invest in his designs. There are parts of the creature that you can say, oh, that looks like this from this story, or his arms or his hands look like this from this story, but not quite. I mean, it's really disgusting. It is a creature that, would you ever have come into contact with it, you would probably pass out or beat feet out of there, because it is just extremely threatening, extremely large. Just, it is a perfect creature for a story like this. And I just, yes, it was bittersweet because it's the last thing Corben did, and it has a lot of the trademark Corben exaggerations in it. Some of the characters, especially Zira, their facial features will shift and change depending on the perspective. Sometimes their face looks very elongated, others not so much. But Corben modeled each of the faces of his main characters out of clay or plasticine. So he had a physical three-dimensional thing that he would rotate and cast light upon it to see where the shadows would fall. So everything's accurate, but Corben had a way of just straying a bit from the script and doing things depending on how he felt. He would just illustrate, just twist and shift the facial features of his characters. The Zira is a very slight, thin girl, but of course this is Richard Corben, and there's a point in the story where she loses her shirt and she's got the giant Corben boobies that we've all come to love. So again, as a all-in-one encapsulation of Corben's career, the things that he used to do within each of his stories, I think it's a fitting end to Corben's catalog. Is it a great story? I thought so. Yeah, it's very. This is nothing new to Corben fans, but it's a mixture of Lovecraft and Poe. Big surprise. Corben has reveled in Lovecraft and Poe his entire career. You know, even the direct adaptations of Lovecraft and Poe that he did, his other stuff like Mutant World and Den, and there's Lovecraftian elements and Poe stuff in all of those, right? So he loved that. He also loved the Gothic genre, and if you're going to put Corben's characters in a setting and it's a forest, Corben excelled in organic things. Like the way Corben drew leaves is very distinctive, but it's all through this book. Like the forest around the Dimwood estate, there's something else underneath Dimwood estate. It's just glorious. Yeah, I'm very thankful that Dark Horse published this. I'm thankful that Beth and Jose finished it. You could tell when Jose comes in. I could tell because I'm a Corben nutbag, but I don't think the average person is going to be able. Oh, that line is different. Richard wouldn't do it that way. There's none of that. Jose did it the way Corben would have done it, but it's a different hand behind the tool. So you could, yes, you could tell that it's Corben with somebody else helping along. But if for 23 pages, would it be better not to have read the story at all? No, I think Jose and Beth did a great job. It's a barn burner. It's a very compelling story, and like I said, it's just like those Amicus movies, you know, where they would some hapless protagonist would wander into this environment, and the land has a mind and a desire all its own, and that's what happens. It's a really fun, great story. Dimwood, Richard Corben Library. I think it's the most latest. Oh my God! I think it's
Wow.
It's the latest volume because it's the last one I've received.
These Rosary Bleeds?
Yes, and you get commentary. There's an introduction by Lansdale. There's an afterword by Jose Villarrubia. There's a few sketch pages in the back. It's all done in the trademark Dark Horse Corben Library style with great paper, hardcover, dust jacket, foil embossing, spot varnish. It's great. You're getting your money's worth with this book. Dimwood.
This is the 7th book? Because unless I misplaced one of them, I'm counting the 6 that I have on the shelf right now.
It could be.
I'm not sure if
Could be.
so. It's the last work he was doing, but is this the last book in the Dark Horse Library?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Rat
Because it
God
does say
is
Dimwood is the next book. So
yeah. Rat God is solicited in this month's. I don't want to say previews. It's solicited this month from Dark Horse. I may skip Rat God because I have the singles.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good story. I'll probably buy it, but no, it's not. Definitely not the last of the Corben Library because Rolf is, I believe, coming out before Rat God, and so there's at least 2 more, hopefully more. Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't know if they're going to publish the stuff that
It's
was kickstarted, like Mutant World, because that already exists. But you can't have a Corben library if you don't publish everything. You can have a incomplete Corben library, but yeah, it's beautiful.
Pause for the cause on this.
Okay.
Because you guys have obviously both been investing in this Corben library, and it's clear because you've talked about every volume that you're reading it. Dap, I think you're reading most of it. But this reminds me, you guys have both, and listen, you're both way cheaper than I am, so like you don't part with your shekels very easily,
Big time.
and yet,
This is true.
you've both been buying volume after volume of those collections of that comic strip. Who is it? Is it
The Terry and the Pirates is done.
Terry and the Pirates?
Yeah.
But wait, but here this. Thank you. I am mystified because the two of you who both get pressed if they have to spend more than $40 in a month have spent each
Don't laugh
hundreds of
at
dollars.
seriously. Don't laugh at him.
You have
It's
each
funny.
not-
I laugh
he's
at
not-
it's funny.
you have each spent. I can't imagine how much on the entire run of Terry and the Pirates, and yet you have
$600
each. You have each collectively
6,
spent,
dude. It's more than 6.
Okay, thank you.
Each
You have
book is
spent
$100.
collectively- Thank you. You've
Yeah, but it
each
was only like
spent
2 and a
collectively
quarter. All right, so just
0
over
minutes talking about it on the show.
Yes,
There's-
that is
yeah,
correct.
there's a reason
we talked
why.
About the first volume briefly. But
Yes. There's a problem because number one, it's you can't just pick up a volume of say volume 3 of Terry and the Pirates and say, "Oh, in this volume, Terry and company get involved in this." But it's hard to just talk about Terry and the Pirates without bringing in the racism.
Yep.
Because
And yet you both spent fucking like $800
because it's a classic. It's a classic of sequential art done by one of the absolute masters. It's
But
just-
we are more than adept at handling issues like we've talked.
Yes,
I mean
yes,
we've
we
talked about the Will Eisner. We have talked. There have
Yeah.
been plenty of classics that we've discussed the uncomfortable components of the timing of the stuff being published.
Right.
And yet, again, all I'm saying is I don't think there's anything else on the planet that you two have spent more than $2,000 combined on and have said fucking nary a word about it.
well, again,
And it fascinates me.
another reason. Say we do volume 6, love it, amazing. We go into the reasons why you should buy it. Very compelling.
Right.
The listener is like, "Wow, that sounds really good." Who in their right mind is going to run out and buy Terry and the Pirates volume 6 without buying the 5 that came before or the 5 that came after? Like, you cannot just buy one volume of this library. You have to get the
I hear
whole
that.
thing.
I still call bullshit on that because we have talked about a million things that are not accessible to listeners.
Yeah, okay. I'm
I'm just saying, like, again, it's not like I don't understand. I understand why you haven't talked about every because it's like redundant, but like literally, I can't. And again, I cannot think of a thing where you two have collectively been all in on that was this like this is high end archival shit.
Yes.
And
Not
like
wrong.
and you know you two are apt to like break the fucking wallet open for this shit. Like again, I'm the one
Go
that's
back to
fucking
that.
insane and the fucking addict and have this tons of archival shit that I never even read. But you
I will-
guys, you're a little more prudent with your funds and like you
Sure.
fucking both buy the Terry and the Pirates every fucking time, and then like I don't know if it's bonus content or you're like Vince is like, hey Daps, you see the solicit? Yeah, I'm on it, dog. All right, cool. Like, and you get the shit, and it's like I'm like, you guys have bought like between you, you've bought like 20 volumes of this shit, and I don't know a fucking one page about it because you've never talked about it.
26.
There you go, 26.
Yeah, because there's 13. Well, no, that's times two. We each have 13 volumes. It's just 13 volumes. It's done. But yes,
spent $1,300 on this stuff.
One was free. No, one was free.
No. Because if you subscribe to them, you get the 3 that are produced for the year at a discounted rate, which is why it's like only like $2.25 for the 3 books for that year,
plus shipping.
So. Well, yeah, whatever. But but even that's not all that much. The shipping wasn't.
It comes out to about $250 for 3 books.
For the year. For the year for 3 books, right?
Yeah, which you receive all at once.
Right.
So
But
do the math. We
and-
paid $250 for 3 books. 3 times 12 is what? Wait a minute. No, $250 for 3 books. And there's 12 books in the series. 1 was free. Do the math. We spent a lot of money.
I think the first volume was.
I mean,
the
Dap's
first volume was
Dap's been married for
discounted,
43 years and he hasn't gone on his honeymoon yet, and he spent $1,000 in Terry the Pirates. Never
43
discussed it.
years. There's also, and it's not an excuse, but there's also so many hours in the day, and I don't have the ability right now to just prop up my feet. And today is where I'm going to
buy them though.
So, yes, because
what kind of a lunkhead
would looking forward to?
No, what kind of a lunkhead would buy the first 7 and like I'm out? Like you gotta see it to the end.
Listen, yeah. Again, ironic that you're telling me this a week after you were telling me how I need to cut my G.I. Joe classified addiction cold because it's the same logic. It's the exact same logic.
No, there's a finite number of Terry and the Pirate books.
There's a finite number of classifieds. There's only
and in the hundreds.
I mean, I'm saying.
You see, you're not making any sense.
What do you mean?
You're equating G.I. Joe with Terry and the Pirates.
One is a classic that's pleased millions of people. One almost no one's ever heard of.
Almost no one has ever heard of Terry and the Pirates.
Okay, let me edit that. Almost no one that's still alive has ever heard of.
Oh shit!
I'm done. I'm fucking done.
We're not making it to 1,000.
Hell no.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, I guess we have a different dictionary because this ain't wonderful.
No, come on. You have to admit it is funny that like the investment you guys have put into Terry and the Pirates is like nearly unprecedented, and yet I've never heard you guys talk one iota about like why keep buying it.
It is unprecedented.
But like it's cool, and like I also feel daunted because like to your point, I'm not going to suddenly spend $1,000 to buy it all, so it's like
nah, you'd hate it.
Kind of lost on me.
You'd hate it. You really would. It's not for you. It's definitely not.
For what reason?
It's goofy and kitschy and
is it like swashbuckling pirate stories?
Some of them, yeah, some of it. It's
like One Piece without being Japanese.
It's the one of the protagonists is a child, which baffles me that Dap likes it.
Are there animals killed in it?
It's kind of like Tintin, a bit.
You hated Tintin.
So, what's that got to do with this? Is Milton Caniff?
Well, you're comparing this to a thing you hated.
It's kind of like Tintin in the fact that there's a child at the forefront who has adventures and goes places and sees different cultures and people.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's like good Tintin.
Yeah.
Right.
Good racist Tintin.
Tintin was racist. Remember we talked about that. Tintin was racist.
Yeah. Yes. But again, disclaimer, it appears in the books. These books were created in a time when it was okay to do those kind of things. It's not okay now. And you have to take that as a caveat when you go into this universe, that people were treated this way and they were called these things. If you can get over that, then you will enjoy Terry and the Pirates, because I think it's a high watermark in comic strips. It's great.
Right. Well, listen, at the end of the day, you got to admit, this is fun content because
It is, but it's also very
Oh,
pulpy,
absolutely.
which, again, you'd hate it. So,
well, I mean, Dap hasn't talked about a book yet, so we'll let him go next. But I have a book. Maybe I'll do my inner travels. That's pretty much like ultra pulpy, and I adore it.
we'll see. We'll see.
Damn.
I would love for one episode for you not to sigh every time I talk about something. That's what I
Oh,
would
well,
love.
shit, that's never gonna. That's.
Number one, I don't sigh every time we talk about
You
something.
just sighed. You just sighed.
So I just do. So therefore, what kind of logic is that? I
Just
just
every
sigh.
episode. He doesn't say after every sentence he makes. Just every episode.
You've heard of
You do it at
Emmanuel,
least once.
Emmanuel Kant. I think, therefore I am. You're like Emmanuel Kant. I sigh, therefore I am.
Oh my god.
That's it, everybody. Thanks for being here with us on
Oh
this.
my god, dude! You got to roll with the punches. You need more Cabernet.
Oh boy, Dap, take us away, far away from this, and talk about something.
I will. I'm going to take you down a road, a phantom road, if you will. I read the 2 volumes so far of Jeff Lemire, Gabrielle Walta, and Jordi Belaire's Phantom Road. Letters by Steve Wands, published by Image. I know Vinci talked about the first volume a few weeks ago. I got a massive kick out because I couldn't stop once I started reading the first volume. And as soon as I finished that, I jumped right to the second. I am glad I'm similar to The Forge. I'm glad I'm reading it when it's collected, because things do happen pretty quickly in each issue. I don't know how I'd feel if I'd have to wait. I mean, obviously I have to wait for the 3rd volume now, but I don't know how I'd feel reading issue to issue. I'd be worried that I'd have to reread the previous issue because I don't want to lose the momentum, and the collections are great in that regard. But Dom's a great character. Birdie, I'm having some issues with, but that's fine. There's a bit of I got a Twin Peaks vibe from it. The whole concept of it, where you're split between this underworld, this other side, and then the real world, and all connected because of the goddamn Billy Bear franchise. It's absolutely wild. I didn't. It's the art's fantastic, but I mean the setup with the Dom drives his rig, and one night almost barely dodges an accident, and that's when he meets Birdie, and they find this object in a road that they're now connected to, and even while they're traveling the road, they can't stray too far from it. So even if they're going to find a hotel for the night, they got to make sure the rig is either parked nearby, or they bring this artifact into the room with them close by, so they don't lose it. And then there's the connection with Birdie's. Birdie's obviously keeping something to herself, but there's an FBI agent on their trail, and she's connected to it in some way because of her dad. And there's a whole mystery involving that as well. And there's threads that aren't left dangling for too long, but they're just there to keep things moving. And as they get plucked, we find out something new. And the mystery of it is keeping me extremely entertained and involved. And the color change between the other side and the real world, it's extremely well done. It's one of those situations where I'm kind of kicking myself that I waited this long to get to it, but I'm glad I finally did, because I'm enjoying it immensely. But it's a hell of a ride, no pun intended. But yeah, I am really looking forward to seeing the story further continue to find out more about these characters. It's one of my favorite Lemire books, and I've read pretty much everything he's done. But between I like this team too. I like Walter's art. The way the characters look. I mean, between the you know, Dom's look and the cops and these creatures from the other side, it's just there's a lot here to enjoy, and I'm glad that that this creative team is working on something so fun.
That Lemire guy has a future, I think.
I think so.
True. I think Birdie's a duplicitous bitch, and I would love to see her come to harm or death. Yeah, I really don't like the character because she preyed upon Dom's compassion, misrepresented herself. She's a liar. She just flat out lied.
Oh, straight up liar. 100%.
Yeah, and it could get him, well, it has gotten him into trouble and or death just because he believes what comes out of her mouth. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I would love to see nothing but bad things happen to her.
I like how each issue starts with like a preview of what could happen, what you'll see later on in the issue. Once then in the second volume, that's when things really start to get a little bit more on the freakier side of things, especially regarding the artifact. But then we also see events, and this artifact also allows the two of them, Birdie and Dom, to kind of get a little bit more familiar with each other's past, and that definitely is going to give Dom more reasons to kind of not trust her all that much. And
he can't leave. I mean, if he leaves her on the road, she's dead.
Yeah.
Right. And he's not going to do that, obviously.
What is she going to do? Like, she can't walk away from the road because you can only get a certain distance before you start throwing up and do the effects of the whatever it is. Yeah, like I don't know. I just bad choice. Stopping, should have kept going. She just kept driving on by.
Yeah,
but what does that say though? Is compassion a bad thing? In this instance, yeah.
Because, right. Yeah.
But he didn't know that.
Yes, I mean, having compassion on its own is not a bad thing, but it can be wasted. It can be applied to the wrong person, and then there's no good comes of it, because the person you're trying to show that compassion to isn't worthy, doesn't want it, doesn't have empathy or is compassion it themselves. So it could feel like a waste, but you're still you. This is who Dom is. He found religion. He's trying to do what's right. Unfortunately, it's just the target, the person he's trying to help. It's not.
What if the right thing gets you killed?
But he's not going to know that. It's if he doesn't know that on the rip. Like eventually, sure, maybe after.
Well, now we can't do anything about it.
Days, sure, but it's like but that's not the type of person he is, because then the guilt and the regret would eat him up, and that's not he's so at least it sucks that he's in this position now, but he would probably be mentally in a worse place if he didn't stop to help. At least that's how I feel. Some people think, but
it fills me with both admiration and disgust. Admiration because I wish I could be that way, but
compassionate.
Yeah, but if I was put in a situation where I'm driving down the road and I see this accident and it looks kind of shady to me. But that's also. But see, that's your survival instinct, though. I can understand that. Exactly. That would be one of those situations where it's like I want to help, but am I
going to, like, this was just an accident on the side of the road, and she's standing and she's leaning up against the car that's on its roof. So Dom, of course, it's one woman. What's the harm? And obviously she's in a bad way. If there's a dude who's driving that car and they're dead, then she's going to need help. So I get that. But if you're just driving through an area and there's a group of people or there's more than a few, and it's some don't sit right, it's giving you the willies, then yeah, absolutely keep driving. That's
Right.
just
No,
I would absolutely I trust your gut.
I just think of all the people that depend on me, right?
Yeah.
Is helping this woman of equal value
Jeopardize that.
than all the
no,
to
I
you know
get
what I mean?
that, yeah.
In almost every instance, the answer is no.
Right.
Sure.
Like you can be the patron saint of compassion. She's going to get you killed, like in this story. It's an admirable quality.
Yep.
But I just don't understand it. Yeah.
And in this day and age, the way the world is right now, it would probably be detrimental. But on the flip side, you don't know if that person you're helping has the means to make to repay your kindness and make your life and the life of those who depend on you that much better. And I mean
that's
rarely
writing,
happen,
but that's writing the story beyond the narrative.
Oh, in this case, yes. But I'm just saying.
No,
like,
in
general,
every case, because all you know is that split second. You're driving by, you see this woman. What do? Do you stop or don't you stop? That's the only question you have. Do I help this person or do I not help this person? And if so, why? Whatever the answer is, why?
Well, it depends on the type of person, right? Depends on the type of person you are. That obviously, again, with Dom and what he's gone through in his life, he figured the best course of action is to help this person.
Right. You got to factor in the unknowns, right? If you see a dude kicking a dog, you stop your car and you beat the shit out of him, right? That's a no-brainer. Even if it's not a level playing field, you got to help the dog. It just makes sense. But if you see a guy on the side of the road with an AK-47 and he's fucking blowing people away, you keep driving. You factor in the what ifs. Like, what if I stop? Well, I'm probably going to get shot. I don't know.
And obviously, if he didn't stop, this would have been a great one shot, and
it would have. Dom would have made his delivery, and it would have been all over.
That's it. Boom. Done. Great one shot.
Thanks for coming, people.
Right.
Yeah. No, in terms of the narrative, he had to stop, but good for him. I like Dom a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, there you go. Phantom Road's a good book.
It is. I like it a lot.
Look at us going Lemire back-to-back weeks.
Should have him on.
He produces a lot of stuff.
He does.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this. If you want to hear more, we have an extensive archive of all our episodes. Just go to 11o'clockcomics.com. You can access everything. Just type in something you want to hear about. Episode comes up. Click on it. Boom. Subscribe. How about that? Subscribe to 11 O'Clock Comics would even be better. And if you would be so kind, leave us a review. We haven't had one in a couple weeks, and we would like to read another review. So please leave us a review. If you want to get cheap OGNs, trade paperbacks, manga, omnibus editions, go to cheapgraphicnovels.com. cheapgraphicnovels.com. And check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/11o'clockcomics. Love to have you. Because, I should have said that in the beginning of the episode, but I didn't because I was excited for our interview. We got another patron.
Yeah, we did.
Mr. Mark Haddock is our newest patron. Thank you, Mark. Big hugs, kisses, pat on the back, pinch on the butt, all that stuff. We love to have more members to the EOC family. So just check it out. Patreon.com/11o'clockcomics. In your travels, what do I have here? Let's see. I'm slowly making my way through my to-read pile.
Excellent.
So this book isn't exactly current or new. In
All
fact,
good.
it was published in 2015
Love it.
by Fantagraphics.
Can't go wrong.
This is by Jordan Crane. It's called Uptight, of which this is the 5th issue. Jason, have you read this?
It doesn't ring a bell. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it's an anthology. There are a number of stories, one of great length and a bunch of lesser length. Each one, however, is an examination on the form of sequential storytelling. Now, there are narrative here in each of the story. Things are going on, but it's mostly about how can I play with the convention of comics. For example, in the first story, the longest of the bunch, is called Keeping Two. And the protagonist is a man whose partner is killed. And he has to identify the body. And it's hinted at strongly that the woman at one point lost a child. So the man is trying to live his life, but he's realizing that all the things that he used to do in his life don't mean so much anymore. Like there's no point of getting up and going to work and reading the mail and taking a bath and brushing your teeth. You know, there's no one to share it with. That person is gone, right? So at one point, the man is so down on his luck that he ends up on the streets. Beat the shit out of him. He picks up a book and he reads. And the narrative switches to a woman who at one point has lost a child. And her husband is not very receptive to her needs and is very dismissive. And the woman imagines a myriad of ways of killing herself, unbeknownst to her husband. Like they never have the talk. Like, this is what I'm going through right now. They don't have that. She just, like, say they're at the breakfast table and they're eating, and she imagines herself blowing her head off with a shotgun. And then it goes back to the table and they're both relatively okay. She imagines herself drowning in a bathtub, cutting her wrist. And at first I was like, obviously, it's obvious how the two stories relate. But in the first part with the man, Crane doesn't use any panel borders. And in the second story, he begins with panel borders. So it's an obvious visual cue that something is different, right? Something has changed. And then the second story continues without the panel borders. But there's only 1 or 2 pages that actually have linear panel borders. I'm thinking, oh, that's kind of clever. And in the second story, he does it again with a multiverse type thing where we see a woman murdered by someone. And the story proceeds apace, and the end leads right back to the beginning. It's a cyclical thing. Pretty cool. And all of the stories are kind of like that. Like just how can I exploit or mangle or manipulate the language of comics to serve my story. It's mostly in black and white. There is one color story in the middle, and it's monochromatic. It's all, well, I would say it's more like plum colored. It's a violetish purple, but it's kind of plum. And it's a sci-fi story. And that's the thing. There's a sci-fi story, There's a slice of life story. There's a story at the end about a man living alone that encounters something out of mythology. It's a really cool anthology, and it just showcases Jordan Crane's ability to make comics, and it's formidable. The guy's got major chops. We've talked about Jordan Crane many times before on this podcast, and he's a heavy hitter. So it's reasonable too. It's only $10. Prestige format. It probably 60, 70, 80 pages. Like, it's pretty thick for $10. Mm-hmm. Check it out. Fantagraphics Uptight number 5. While you're at it, try and get all of them. Bet you it's difficult. I think this was included in my Desert Island mystery mail box. I can't remember buying this, but it was on my stack. So I read it, and boy, oh boy, was it worthwhile.
In your travels, shout out to our friend, Caleb. Surprised me by sending me Young Men in Love, New Romance. It's the second volume, following the Glad Media and Ringo Award-winning first volume, Young Men in Love, a queer romance anthology. This is also an anthology. As anthologies go, there are some stories that aren't as strong as those that slap, but it still is a great-looking book. You've got it is edited by Joe Glass and Matt Miner, and some of the creators include Gavin Mitchell and you got Luciano Vecchio, Al Ewing, David Brom, DJ Kirkland, Josh Trulio. I mean, it's there, and the stories range from kind of just real life in Birmingham, Alabama in 2010 with a couple of friends, or there's some fantasy and superhero type stories. They're all about for about 6, 7, 8 pages each. They're not long stories, but they all involve men and men who just left relationships, looking for love, aren't looking for love. There's one story actually that I believe this was Caleb's favorite story, where the one by Ewing and Vecchio, it's told the characters communicate. They're speaking. The word balloons only consist of emojis. So the dinner for two guy goes into the supermarket, and he's just thinking about what he's going to get, but then he sees somebody at the market, and they're having a conversation, but basically, again, just solely in emojis and almost like memes. But overall, it's a and there's a couple of more touching stories as well, involving a couple. One guy doesn't want to get involved with someone else because he's been diagnosed with cancer, so part of it is their relationship, and how the challenges that might take. But overall, strong group of stories, great art. I definitely enjoyed it. So again, thank you to Caleb. It was published by A Wave Blue World. You can find it wherever you find your books. But yeah, in your travels, Young Men in Love, New Romance.
Nice. Another conceptual continuity. Shout out to Tyler Chin-Tanner, who's the publisher of A Wave Blue World. I actually just bought a piece of art from him this week.
Sweet.
It's funny. That's strange.
Oh yeah, there it is right there. Yeah, Chin-Tanner. Nice.
Yeah. He and his wife Wendy are the co-publishers. They're always at Heroes, by the way. Set up.
Oh shoot.
Yep. So the aforementioned pulp book, Vince, that I said that you would like, and Dap would like this too, is My Inner Travels, and that is In Your Travels. Please check out Bandette. In this case, Volume 5, The Wedding of B.D. Belgique. This is an ongoing series by the married couple of creators, Paul Tobin and Colleen Coover. I've talked about this over the years. One of my favorite things about this is that they take their time with it. This is volume 5. The first volume came out 12 years ago, back in 2013. So they don't flood the market with this stuff. They do it as they see it. But it's just delightful. It is.
Is it still? I'm sorry. Is it still under the Monkey Brain umbrella?
No, because I don't think Monkey Brain exists anymore. No,
I didn't either, so I wasn't sure.
They put it out digitally themselves now. It was originally on Comics. They've put it out in lots of different places, and then the hardcover was come out from Dark Horse, which is how I read it. But Bandette is a young adult. Like, I think in the first volume she was a teenager. I think now she's in her early 20s. But she is a redheaded, super bubbly French thief. She's considered the world's greatest thief. Kind of like Black Cat, if Black Cat was bubbly and fun instead of morose and hypersexual. But regardless of that, the stories are about her and adventures. And this volume is really fun for those that have been reading from the start because it's pretty much a getting the gang together. She has to recruit all of the, well, not all, but many of the key figures from the other volume to work with her on a big caper. Some were her allies over the other books, some were her enemies, but she has to get them all together to take on a greater enemy, sort of enemy friend type of thing. So there's Bandette, and like I said, she's this really fun-loving, almost like Inspector Clouseau. Like she's incredibly good at stealing things, but like nothing ever goes wrong. Like she kind of just like she goes about her business without ever worrying about anything not working out for her. There's the urchins, which are kind of like her Newsboy Legion, like a group of regular folk who are big supporters of her and help her out. There's Daniel, who is her lover. There's Pimento, which is a cute little puppy dog that's her pet. There's Matadori, who is a female Matador-themed character, but she's a assassin, and she's got a little pet pig named Pietro. There's Femme Felon, who is a beautiful, tall, sort of lithe, cat suit wearing. Looks more like actually cat burglar. There's the Monsieur, who is a male hooded, cape wearing super thief, and he's kind of in other volumes he's kind of been Bandette's foil because they're always both trying to steal the same stuff. There's Inspector B.D. Belgique, who is the Clouseau of this, the one who's always trying to capture her, but never quite gets to pull it off. His right hand woman Heloise Price, and then they're all basically pulled together in this volume to take on the Voice, who's this shadowy fedora wearing crime lord who is pulling strings behind the scenes, and it's just a blast, man. I mean, Colleen's cartooning is wonderful. It's just vibrant. It's energetic. Basically, they're all of these stories take place in France and Paris, so they're bouncing around the Parisian landscape. I love a good heist story. I love a good getting the gang together story. So this is both of those, and it was delightful, as all the Bandette volumes have been. So I love that they just kind of do their own thing. I don't know how well these sell or like they're big hits, but I love that they keep putting them out, and I think this is one of the stronger volumes. So in your travels, if you haven't already, check out Bandette Volume 5, The Wedding of B.D. Belgique.
Nice. Sounds fun.
It is super fun.
Super fun. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here with us one more time. We hope you come back next time. Why? Because we love you. In the meantime, get yourselves to a comic shop. Online, brick and mortar, don't care. Buy some comics, read them. We hope you love them. We hope you go online and talk about them. Or how about this? Talk to people in the real world about them. Get people to read comics because it's the best thing ever. And then come back next time because guess what? We'll be talking about comics. Win-win.
For another 8 episodes.
Yep. Win-win situation. So, in the meantime, do yourself a favor and say goodnight.
Oh, shit. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner.
David.
Happy birthday, Tony Fleece. Good night.
Those Sabbath guys had something. Nice. Yes, he was old, and we don't like to see people go, but life happens.
Yeah, great run.
Yeah, good run. I really can't believe he was our age during the reality show.
Yeah, he had a pretty.
I would have guessed he was like 70 years old.
Back then, yeah.
He had a pretty amazing career. Most of it good. Well, half or better of it good.
I can't speak to that, but he seemed like a really entertaining.
Sabbath was great, and his first 3 solo albums were great. And then after that, I don't want to call it crap, but it wasn't in keeping with his previous stuff. Mm-hmm. But he was Ozzy, so we loved him. Yeah. There you go. And tell them you love them. Mean it.
We do love you so much.
We do.
That's it for that one.